the hip hop music, profanity and music, and all of the different things that the hip hop generation has taken the weight for. You dig what I'm saying? It's all because of a cultural exchange of information from all the generations. Black music has had a profound effect on the hip hop generation.
And then also you have to look at it like this too. A lot of the black kids, their way of making it to success is through their black music with what they, I mean, with their rapping.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of them, they ain't been to college,
Right.
so this is their street learning.
Mm-hmm.
So they learn how to rap real good, and so I mean, this is their way of making a living. Now, all rappers are not bad, just
No.
because you rap,
Right.
just because what you say. But
Mm-hmm.
now, when you look at politics, you figure you ain't gonna find too many no rappers in the politics. You know, like in the White House, nothing, because the majority of our kids is going the wrong way.
But do you think the message, like for instance, let's say Jay-Z, I think in one of his raps he talked about, or it must have been an interview or whatever it was, how he used to be a drug dealer, and now he's a successful businessman, from a rapper to a successful businessman. Do you think that is a positive image for our kids, or do you think they look up to him and want to come up kind of the same way?
A lot of them do.
Well,
A lot of them do. But
he cleaned up his act. There has not been a nationality or culture in America that didn't come up doing something that was not legal,
not legal.
not what we would call
They just
illegal.
They just didn't publicize it.
Right.
Well, it was publicized.
I'm saying, well,
Wait a minute, it was publicized. It was publicized big time because there were many murders. Let's understand that all hip hop music and all these kids talk about is the things that have happened in the streets, that's happening in their generation and in their lives. That's all they talk about. That's all Jay-Z talks about. That's all Biggie Smalls talked about. And some of your more the NWA guys. Niggas with attitudes. You think when I found that out, I was like, whoa, But anyway, in a White House, and I don't mean the White House, I mean in just a regular white family. I'm saying, Jesus Christ, where the hell I been?
Right.
Must have been sleeping. I consider myself a pretty good guy.
Right.
But I didn't know that one. I guess that was somewhere else. But all of this stuff, man, the music, all they're talking about. I work with a lot of hip hop artists in this city, and I'm glad I did. I learned a lot from these kids, man. And yes, they can be the same people that's sitting in the White House right now, because a lot of them cats sitting in the White House right now is the ones that were stealing apples from the little vendor on the thing. There ain't no angels sitting in no White House, sitting in no CBS records, sitting on no Columbia records. How you think they got so rich? Okay? Hello? I didn't mean no harm there. Don't blackball me.
taking it, but in a different way. They're taking it with the smile on their face.
Well, do you think that that's all the so-called powers to be want to sign now is those type of artists who are portraying a negative image to the people instead of something positive?
But see, that's where it's all wrong. That's where it's all wrong. Give the people what they want. The customer is always right. Ain't that what we've always heard?
Mm-hmm.
So they're gonna
nobody make them go to them.
No, they're gonna keep doing it and doing it and doing it. I'll give you a perfect example. Turn on black radio, then turn on white radio. Between the hours of what time the kids get out of school?
3.
Okay. Turn on black radio. Oh baby. I want to feel your butt. You won't hear that on the white radio station. You won't hear none of that on the white radio station. If you do, it's beeped out. Boom. They probably won't even play it. Everything they play is clean. They don't want their children listening to that. But we take it like, oh, it's cool. You know, I'm sitting in the car with my daughter, and I gotta hear this. Oh, yo, baby, you know, you're a brainchild, baby. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, whoa, I'm feeling some kind of way. I don't like it
Right.
because I don't like what it's saying. You cannot listen to that with me in the car. And I do hardcore rap in my studios. I can't make people do what I want them to do.
Right.
You know, I perform a service. I can't say that I like some of it I don't like. But I don't go for the provocative stuff around my children.
Mm-hmm.
You can control. I like what you said earlier. If you don't chastise your children and you don't give them a sense of direction, then you failed your job.
That's right.
You want to be their buddy instead of a parent.
Right.
That's right.
And that's all wrong.
All wrong.
You're not my friend.
Right.
That's right.
I told my daughters a long time ago. One of my daughters said to me one time, I was chastising her. She was like, "We're not friends anymore." And I said to her, "No, we're not friends. I'm your dad, and we may never be friends. I will always be your dad, and you will respect me as that."
Right.
You know, cut and drop. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you said it at all there.
Yeah. Too many of these parents, I think, want to hang out in the club and party with their
Yeah, the
kids.
kids come on with a bag of weed.
They
You
wanna
talking about,
see-
roll me up one.
Right.
Roll me up what?
Yeah.
I don't want to see it, and I don't want to smell it.
Yeah. And then they in the club dancing to the same music.
Right.
Hey, are you kidding me?
You know,
How can you check them?
You can't.
you're 79 years old, and your pants is dropped down, and you can see your thumbs. Come on.
Yeah.
We wasn't brought up like
Yeah,
that.
we wasn't.
We wasn't brought up that
But,
way.
and with that, the people who are buying these records, now they are adapting to that culture. You see more white kids dressing that way.
Right.
They can bop to our music a lot better than some of us can.
Right.
You know, they can spit the lyrics and know it verse for verse.
You know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I have a lot of white friends. I don't even know they're white. When we're with each other and stuff like that, I don't see that.
I don't see it.
I don't see that. I don't feel that. I'm not intimidated by them being white. They ain't intimidated by me being black. I mean, it's like it's a cool thing, and it's the way it should be.
Right.
But we have to really, we have to understand that there's a difference.
Mm-hmm.
If we forget for one moment that there's a difference, then we got problems. I'll give you, for instance, I got some white friends that like collard greens, but I got some that don't even know what collard greens are.
Right. I have a white friend, you mentioned greens, and he told me, he said, I was cooking something, and he said, "Hey, James, can I have some of them colored greens?" He didn't even know what it was. He called them colored greens.
Well, he been there and done that. He said it was good. Give me some of them collard greens.
I said, okay, you can have some more of them colored greens.
But have you ever eaten creasy greens? See, you don't even know what it is.
Nah.
Ah, you see what I'm saying? Culturally, you know, we're different in certain ways. There's a lot of Italian foods that you don't know.
Right.
I didn't know until I had that experience to sit down with some of my Italian friends and learn what asabuku was and things of that nature. And yeah. You know, and then let's not even go Chinese. And I had my brother-in-law. We went to a Japanese restaurant one time, and I thought he knew. And I said, "Well, man, what do you have?" He said, "I don't know." I said, "Well, go ahead and order something." He said. So when the guy came up, he said, "Y'all got shrimp fried rice?" He said, no, that's Japanese. No Chinese. No Chinese, Japanese. You know, I can't tell you how embarrassed I was. You know?
Right.
Man, you should have asked me. We could have went and got you some chicken wings.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask this question, because I think all of us here have, I think we can agree, all have white friends, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so how do we change the way people think? Like like you said, you get along with your white friends. I get along with mine. I have many, and you guys probably do too. How do we take that relationship we have with them and try to get that relationship to change what the other people see in the world?
You want my candid opinion on
Yes,
that?
yeah.
Well, let's go back a little bit through history.
Mm.
Let's go back to the civil rights movement when Mr. Frank Sinatra, Mr. Harry Belafonte, Mr. Sammy Davis Jr., and people of that caliber, Sidney Poitier, Ozzy, the actor, him and his wife.
Ozzy,
You know
I think they was name, but he was married to Ruby Davis.
Ruby D.
Ruby D.
And so you had all this conglomerate of different cultures, different levels, different class of people, black and white, looking at the injustice and pulling together.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? They had a hard time doing it. They had a very hard time doing it. The resistance was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess in answer to your question, it's going to take more than just the people that I know and that you know.
And I know.
And that he knows, and that we all know in this room. We may have white friends, but it's gonna take a conglomeration of black and white, just like they did back then.
Mm-hmm.
Because apparently somebody ain't got the message yet.
Right.
And these people, they're running rampant, they're running scared, they're paranoid, they don't understand, and it's fear. A lot of it is fear. And that's all I can say to that. A lot of it is fear, and it's fear on both parts. We got to clean up our own act amongst the black people.
Right.
That's number one. Like I said,
I agree with
once that is done,
right,
everything else is a piece of cake.
You got that right.
You dig what I'm saying? You can't fight, man. I ain't never seen nobody fight with their pants off. How you fight with your drawers down?
You can't even run.
You can't.
And if you hold them up,
You
trying
can't
to
run.
run.
Well, you might be able to run, but it's kind of hard to fight when you're trying to protect.
And then on top of that, there's a lot of them walking around with their pants down and their underwear ain't clean.
Yeah.
But we're not talking about that. They
No,
don't
but
exist.
I'm just saying, you got your pants down and your underwear ain't clean. At least if you're going to weigh them down, put some bleach on your underwear. You bleach them up.
Right.
Clean them up. If you want to show them.
Right. So do you agree with T. Life about?
I agree with
you. Agree? Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna hard to fight when you've been stripped of all your idiosyncrasies, all your negativism and things like that. How you gonna fight on a positive level when you've been stripped of all of that? So collectively, as people, white and black, we have to come together and strip down all of that before we can begin to have some verbal articulation about what's going on in the planet, what's going on with people,
Right.
Maybe that's the incorrect wording, but that's okay because you guys are slave drivers and you've been making me talk for a long time. That's what I call. It's called abuse.
So do you guys think it's going to get better before it gets? Do you think it's going to get worse before it gets better, or what do you think? Who do you see us evolving to with everything that's going on right now?
Personally, I think it's like anything else, a disease. See, this is a disease we're fighting. This is not normal.
Right.
This is a disease. It's like cancer. It's been in here a long, long time. It's longer than 400 years.
Right.
We're talking about 400 years in this country. So I ain't going to step outside of these boundaries. I'm going to stay right here with the 400 years. This disease has been festering for 400 years. In answer to your question, I think I just answered you.
Okay.
It's going to get worse before it gets better. Hopefully, it's not that bad to the point where we can't fix it, and then it gets into some other Alfred Hitchcock shit.
Right.
Excuse my French.
And the fixing is gonna, have to be at home.
You gotta fix it here.
You gotta fix it at home because if you don't do no fixing at home, you can forget about what's going on in the street.
Okay.
So it's got to start at home. They're gonna have to change about some of these laws that they got.
Yeah.
You can't chastise your child, then they should take care of you first.
Yeah.
And one other thing I want to say: the churches, the ministers, the imams, and the mosques. We got to start looking at ourselves and become realistic with our thought processes and tell everybody and teach everybody. A lot of people are not learning what's going on. There's no freedom here. You ain't free. Freedom costs.
Right.
You're going to pay something.
Mhm.
And everything that you're living now is an illusion. It's just a lot of more stuff. It's not free. You know? It's an illusion. So we got to stop living a lie and start living reality, because if we keep killing each other like we're killing each other, there ain't going to be nobody else to blow up in no church or no mosque or nothing else.
Right.
We doing enough of that ourselves.
Yeah.
So there's the prejudices and the racism, and we do great music. We can tap dance real good. We got rhythm.
Right. And we got vocal cords, good ones,
Hello.
and
But what don't we have? We don't have that united thing that we need to move on in life and sort of like give people a different opinion of who we are and help the world.
a lot of that comes from
We can
lack
do
of education.
Yeah. Lack of education. People not picking up books to read.
When you can't savor so much to your kids, it goes back to there.
Mhm.
When you do too much and they go to school, the teacher asks them what's wrong, and they say, "Oh, my mom slapped me." Maybe you didn't even slap them. You might have just
Like
pushed them.
staffed them.
But still, and that's wrong. I don't think that nobody should be punished by chastising their child to a limit.
Mhm. I mean, especially if you're not trying to physically harm that
Harm
child.
them.
If you just chastise them because he did something wrong,
Wrong.
then you need to stay out of my household and out of my business. You know, because I'm keeping this kid out of the street, keeping him, from maybe being a murderer or whatever.
Mhm.
You know.
But the only problem with that is, we're living in a day and age where there is so much anger.
Mhm.
When I was coming up, and probably you were coming up, my daddy knew how to chastise.
Yes.
He knew just how far to go. I saw a guy beat his son like he was beating some dude in the
Oh,
streets.
that video.
Oh my God, it was
Yeah,
horrible.
it was
I
horrible.
mean, listen, I ain't no, I know how to, I had 4 sons.
Oh, you
understand what I'm
was the
saying?
one commenting on that, wasn't
Oh my God, it was horrible. I mean, why are you fighting him like a dude?
you? Yeah, he was.
You know what I'm saying?
It was.
I mean, the cat, he clearly couldn't beat him.
Right.
You understand? But you have to be able to understand your limits and where you could go at with
That's
your
right.
anger.
Exactly.
Right.
See, if your anger is over the top, then you need a DHS, a SGT, a GTO. You need them to come on in.
Definitely. You need them to hurry up.
Help!
Yeah. Exactly. Cause
Help me, killing me in here.
Yeah.
Ooh, your dad, my daddy.
And
He
I-
flipped out.
And I came from a family.
He's an
of
ex-crack
13
baby.
brothers and sisters,
And mom and dad kept all y'all in check, didn't
and we was all in check.
they? Yeah. See?
You would come in, you couldn't find a dirty dish in the kitchen. There would be no beds unmade. Never.
Right.
You could eat off the floor. You
Yeah.
drop something on the floor, you'd be able to pick it up and eat it. You would have to worry about dust.
Yeah. Different day, different age.
But
Different
now,
day,
if you
different
drop something
age.
on the floor, mice done took it.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna happen.
They done shot it
The
somewhere.
reality of what you're saying ain't gonna happen in this generation because they ain't built that way.
Right.
One thing about the scriptures, in some parts of the scriptures, be it the Holy Quran or the Holy Bible, it says the world is getting weaker and wiser in its own way. And it is. It has really gotten to that. And I don't want to talk spiritual matters. I want to talk about, what it is and dealing with the horse and common sense thing. And I'm going to tell you, man, these kids now, are way beyond that.
Right.
Yes, they
They're way beyond that. Now we have to talk to them like the adults that they want to be.
Right.
But the
Right.
brain may not be caught up with that. But
Right.
they are so sharp and so wise in other things.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't build a building from the top down. You can't be 13 flights up and not know what's happening on the ground.
Exactly.
You gotta have your feet on the ground.
Gotta have your
And
feet
a
on
lot
the
of them don't have
They
that.
don't.
They don't have what you got.
Right.
You got what's
Well,
in common.
This has been another episode of An Open Conversation. I've been talking with Mr. James Knight, Mr. T Life. I'm telling you, if the behind the scenes stuff, if you guys could have been a part of it, was awesome. I sat here and just had a good time with both of these guys. And I've really enjoyed it. I thank you, sir.
Thank you for
I
having
look
me.
forward to talking to
All
you
right.
again, especially on Facebook. Thank you again, too, sir. This is Mr. Simply D with T Life, James McKnight. Mark 5 behind the scenes, Mr. Divine on the camera. We thank you for joining in. We'll catch you next Thursday with another